Benjamin Franklin once said, "Keep your eyes wide open before marriage and half shut afterwards." This is wise advice. So for all the singles out there, please choose wisely. Do not settle for second best just to be in a relationship. Many heartaches can actually be prevented by choosing wisely. And for those who are in a steady relationship but not yet married, in case your significant other falls under one of the 5 red flags, think twice before settling down. If he or she can change, good. But it's better to break up than get married and be miserable for the rest of your life in case that person doesn't change. Welcome to Adjusting Your Heart. I'm Dr. AJ, and every Friday we upload new videos regarding mental health and relationship issues. So please hit the like, subscribe, and notification buttons below. And if you have any topics that you'd like me to tackle, please leave a comment below and I'll try my best to incorporate it in our future videos. So let's move on to our topic. 5 dating red flags to watch out for. The first of that would be if someone lacks commitment. That means that person doesn't prioritize you. He won't call or even text for several days. My friend, if he is a suitor, he should exert more effort. Because if you're always the one initiating, then just be prepared to do so after you're in a relationship or even after you get married. And that's tiring because both parties should be exerting effort to make a relationship work. And a person who lacks commitment would often cancel dates due to work. Of course, it's understandable that it happens once in a while, but if that happens often, that means that person is a workaholic and his work comes before family or relationships. And if that person keeps canceling dates because of friends or his barkada or her barkada, you have to be watchful. The operative word is he or she keeps canceling, which means it happens a lot of time. That means his or her friends takes priority in his or her heart. Of course, work and friends are equally important. And yet, I would want a partner who would prioritize our marriage above all. Or let's say a person who lacks commitment would also have a string of short-term relationships. Worst, he or she would place the blame on the ex. Because if things didn't work out for both of you, he would also do the same with you. And MU should only be a face. MU is mutual understanding. Or sometimes we jokingly said it's masamang usapan. Why? Because in MU, there's no commitment. You can still court other people or the girl can still entertain other suitors. There's no commitment. And if that went on for around 3 years, the MU stage, then that's difficult because you've already fallen in love, invested in everything, and then suddenly the guy or the girl said he or she found a special someone. So better DTR, define the relationship after a span of time. And of course, we wait for the guy to initiate. Because if the guy is not ready and you're the girl and you asked, he might just run away. If the guy's not ready, then if you ask me, just go on and date other guys. Because other guys, they just want to have a trophy girlfriend, but they're not willing to settle down. So, after going steady for a span of time, a mature guy should be willing to talk about marriage. There should be a tentative time, a timetable for getting married in the future. So there's something off if he's not ready for that. Especially if you've already been in a relationship for several years and of marrying age. Of course, for all the girls out there, it's wise not to sleep or cohabit with someone before marriage. Because they're just guys who like to play the field. Or what people call now FWB, friends with benefits. Women, we are on the losing end. Because in our society, it's okay for men to sleep around. But not every man will marry a woman who has slept with many guys. So think about that. And now there are 2 interesting terms I'd like to talk about. One is ghosting. What is ghosting? It's someone you're dating suddenly disappearing without a trace. No call, no text, no explanation. And that person will suddenly unfriend or unfollow you. And if you try to call them, They won't return your texts or calls. In case things are not going well and you want to break out, please just be upfront and tell that other person. Do not just disappear, okay? Do not ghost someone. And in case you're the one who got ghosted, of course that hurts, please do not pursue or stalk that person. It's no use, because that person, even if it comes back for a time, would still leave you. And you still won't feel that secure. So just cry your heart out, talk to trusted friends, and move on. Another term is zombieing. So what's zombieing? Zombieing is when a person who ghosted you suddenly appeared after another span of time. Let's say after 6 months of ghosting you, he disappeared, and then he suddenly come back. Or she would text you. My friends, in case that happens to you, please do not blindly accept that person. Ask that person, what happened? Why did he or she ghost you? Okay? And think, would you ever feel secure when you're with that person? So my second red flag would be habitually lying. Actually, this point and the third point, are included in Dan Shun's How to Pick a Spouse. So whether it's in actual or e-dating or online dating, please reveal the truth about yourself. A strong relationship is built on trust. Lying destroys trust. A person who truly loves you will be able to accept your weaknesses and your past. In my video last week, entitled Is He or She the One?, I shared how Hans honestly told me about his past while he was still courting. It's a good thing he did, because several of my friends called me up when they found out that we're getting steady. They said, did you know that he did this before? I said, don't worry. He told me the truth, and my parents and I were able to accept it. But in case he didn't tell me beforehand, and I found out through my friend, I would have just broken up with him. And some people lie about their age, their weight. Please don't do so, because eventually that person would find out the truth. So just be upfront and tell them your real age, your real weight. Like when you want to post a picture in Facebook or Instagram, do not post a picture that is 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Just post a recent pic, and even post a full body pic. It's okay. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. It will be good for that person to be able to accept whether if you feel that you're too thin or you're a little on the chubby side, because it will be hard to just keep on pretending. And there are people who would lie about their whereabouts, their activities, their salary, their status, their family. There's nothing, okay? If you don't need to lie if there's nothing to hide, okay? So just be honest. Unless, of course, why would you lie about your whereabouts? Maybe you're meeting up with an ex. And these kind of things might lead to affairs. So we don't want that to happen, okay? So watch out for people who habitually lie. And make sure that he or she is not married or in a relationship. You could check his or her social media accounts, and you could ask trusted friends for information and advice, okay? The third red flag would be easily jealous. The operative word is easily. This means that these people get jealous for no valid reason. Then they become very possessive and controlling. Like, you can't wear certain clothes, you can't be friends with this person. Then worse, they even get jealous of your own family members or his or her family members. They would constantly check your cell phone. They would keep calling every 30 minutes to know what you're doing. Your initial reaction might be, you feel flattered. Wow, my boyfriend or my girlfriend loves me so much. He or she keeps calling. But my friend, in the long run, you'll feel suffocated and trapped. People who are easily jealous have trust issues based on negative past experiences. Maybe a bad experience with an ex who was not faithful, or maybe his or her parents were not faithful, or maybe based on their own insecurities. But these issues have to be worked out on his own or her own. They should consult a counselor. And that person should also be able to remind himself or herself that you chose him or her. And sometimes the reason why somebody is also easily jealous, it's because they're projecting, which means they're the ones who are unfaithful. They're playing around on the side. So he or she is afraid that you might be doing the same. That's why he or she keeps checking on you. So if that's the case, that person has to be faithful. It's normal to feel jealous when somebody's flirting with your boyfriend or girlfriend. But of course, your boyfriend and girlfriend should learn how to set healthy boundaries with people of the opposite sex. Of course, you do not want your boyfriend or girlfriend to be too close to someone. The fourth red flag would be constantly criticizing. This person has a bad habit of only seeing the negative side of people and situations, and they are very vocal about it. So you take note of how your boyfriend or girlfriend treat other people, especially people of lower status. How do they treat the waiters or waitresses, the maids, the drivers, the guards, or their subordinates? And then compare it with how he or she would treat you. Usually at first they would treat you very, very well, but they would be very rude to others. Be careful, because eventually they would also be rude towards you. Or they would badmouth their ex, their boss, their friend. Other people are always to blame and not them. And because of that, they have a lot of disruptive relationships with friends and their relatives. Eventually, this person will be very critical of you, your family members, your job, your friends, and start calling you names like, "You're so stupid, you're lazy, you're irresponsible." That's being verbally abusive. Please do not tolerate that. Of course, we should be open for constructive criticism because it's born out of concern and love, and of course that person would say it nicely. But mean critics are insecure people who wants to put others down so that they can lift themselves up. And just like a flower, your self-esteem would slowly wilt and die. Actually, the Bible encourages us in 1 Thessalonians 5:11. It says, encourage one another and build up one another. So look for that person. And lastly, the fifth flag would be frequently changing moods. It's natural for teenagers to be moody. That's why a lot of relationships of the teenagers don't work out until marriage. There will be a lot of fights and then they will just split up. Being emotional unstable means that, okay, right now that person is okay, but after 30 minutes or an hour, that person would suddenly throw a tantrum in a public place, or that person would suddenly cry for no reason. That's very difficult. You'll be walking on eggshells all the time, since you don't know what might trigger your partner to have a negative reaction. A mature adult should already have learned how to handle unpleasant emotions like anxiety, sadness, or even anger. So my friends, the 5 dating red flags to watch out for are somebody who lacks commitment, habitually lying, easily jealous, constantly criticizing, and frequently changing moods. I'm not saying that these people are bad. I have friends who have these traits, but I don't want to marry any of them. Unless they change, it's very difficult to live with them under the same roof. So if you're blessed by this video, please like, subscribe, and share it to others. And if there are other red flags that I failed to mention, just leave a comment below so I can address them in future videos. I'd like to thank the following for supporting us: Principal Angeline Tiller, Annabelle Ma, Candy Chang, Heidi Wun Lim, Josephine Chang, Mary Remrose Pedrajas, Natalia Mikhailovska, Pastor Pasita Ong, Pat the Future Athlete. So happy Chinese New Year and happy Valentine's to all.